What's up, everybody? Welcome back to your favorite New York Jets subscription podcast, Badlands. I'm your host, Joe Caparoso, joined by Will Parkinson, who was at training camp today, a day that will forever be remembered as Toegate. And you could tell from the tenor of my voice that I'm in a cheerier mood than I expected to be at about 9:55 this morning when I had, I don't know, about 98,000 mixed texts from every person in my life. My Discord, our Discord blowing up, Slacks, everything. There was not a human being who didn't contact me because Justin Fields was taken off on a cart. Being that we're all Jet fans, everyone assumed he was out for the year. They were fake. I'm rambling now. Will, how you doing? How you feeling? Walk me through it. You were there on the ground. The first notification I got about this, I'm going about my day. I get my ping in the Badlands group chat, and he just says, Fields hurt. And I'm like, and then all of a sudden the downfall came. So you talk me through it on the ground. Then I'll talk you through my experience today.
Yeah, I get out there. It was a beautiful day, Florham Park. You know, it sounds like I'm talking about 9/11 here. Like it was, it was beautiful out. It was nice to be out there in second practice. There was, 15, 20-minute longer practice than yesterday, a little bit higher intensity, some more teamwork, and they're kind of moving in, they'll move into shells and then full pads over the next, they'll probably be in helmets tomorrow. And then they'll start to get into pads, early next week. But Glenn's moving around, bouncing around. I got the music going. It was like a good feeling. Like, I don't know. I got a good feeling. I'm not saying like, we're going to sit here and tell you this team's going 17-0, but it was a nice feeling. Glenn's, there's a distinct memory in my head. I was texting you guys. It was like Glenn walked over. He's watching, O-line indie drills. They're O-line indie drills. There's not even pads on. But, like, Membu had a really nice rep. And Glenn literally goes, mm-hmm. And it was like, oh, this is awesome. Like, I was like, this is cool, and I would say we can't say what spot on the depth chart they are. I would just say you'll likely see a lot of Armand Membu running with the Justin Fields part of the offense. But, yeah, they get in the first team period, first play, like, it was a sack, but next play, Fields throws like a 60-yard deep play action to Arian Smith. It was like, hey, this is what we've talked about. This is the niche role for Arian Smith. These deep overs, deep go routes. That was nice to see. Michael Carter looks very healthy. I mean, he beat Arian Smith to the ball, which I don't know. We talk about Arian Smith as a track guy, and Michael Carter's probably the fastest guy on the team. But Brandon Stevens is also in coverage. Pass breakup. I'm like, wow, man. And they go through. Tyrod comes in, hits Brandon Smith on a deep cross, and I was like, Tyrod throws a heck of a ball. Brandon Smith, the Clowney Award, like everything's kind of going good. They come back out, they re-rack. Brady Cook throws the worst interception I've seen since Zach Wilson. He today, by the way, I'd be shocked if he gets through camp.
Poor Brady Cook. Footnote.
It was like every throw was 60. It was 20 feet high. I don't think Yao Ming's catching anything. Long-winded way of saying, we get to first play of team period. They re-rack 1s, 2s, 3s, 4s. Fields dumps one off to the flat to Rucker. Quincy had a really nice breakup. Quincy's yelling at everybody, doing Quincy things. And I look over and someone's like, "Oh, Fields is limping," and I'm like, "No, he's not." It was a significant limp. It was not like a gimpy hobbling off. It was like he walked off on his own, but there was a trainer there, very much present, and it looked like an ankle. I sprained my ankle playing kickball last week. Like you've seen it a million times. You roll an ankle because there was no contact really. I couldn't tell someone rolled up on him. Obviously, we know he got stepped on now, but goes over the training table, Joe, and they're unrolling the ankle tape. They start moving him further and further back, so it's kind of hard to see. I don't think that was on accident, and I'm starting to get a weird feeling in my stomach. I'm like, why is he like? This is just an ankle. They should retape and he should be good or something else. And I look below me and I hear, "You need the cart." And I go, "You fucking motherfucker." Like I immediately text you guys. I'm like, "Oh, this is bad." And it's not even, I understand the precautionary, right? I totally understand all of that is the case. I know how it works. But when someone limps off and then they do test and they call for a cart, with an Achilles right away. So my instant thought was, oh boy, did they just do a test? Because we know right Rodgers, within 5 minutes. It's the same test. Kyle Brandt says this to me all the time. He popped his Achilles. He wasn't sure. The doctor goes, "Dude, I know it's an Achilles. I don't have to even do an MRI." again, then they take him the long way around. He was sitting in the front seat, so he was on the cart. He was not carted off with his leg elevated.
It's a long ride. It's a
long ride, but then he walked in the locker room,
yeah.
and we all kind of just sat there. And I just think there was a million things going through everyone's head, but
it's a long hour.
I kept saying sprained ankle, and if it's not a sprained ankle, the second that Glenn comes up to the post practice, we'll know it's an Achilles. You can't hide it. So I don't know. I guess take me through what you guys were thinking. Were you guys thinking Achilles too? Connor was texting me. He's like, it's got to be an ankle, right, dude? Like, right? Like, it has to be an ankle.
The initial wave of panic was people overanalyzing the cart situation. Why is he on the cart? He stood up and sat back down. That's just like Rodgers. Maybe he knew right away. And then there was a fake Schefter tweet going around that Paul accidentally dropped in the group chat, which almost gave all of us a heart attack. I was like, oh my God. And then a bunch of people shared me on that because they tricked a lot of people with that. Be careful on X. So then it's like, all right, Glenn's talking at 10:30. We'll know then. If he's out for the year, we'll know then. A lot of the Twitter doctor speculation, Discord speculation, Reddit speculation. So in my head, I was doing a lot of what I did with Rodgers, where it's probably an ankle. Maybe it's a high ankle sprain, but even that, you're like, high ankle sprain.
There's a high ankle sprain for a mobile quarterback.
Yeah.
8 weeks.
I'm like, he's out 6 to 8 weeks. And there's RG3's tweeting about Kirk Cousins. And I'm like, here we go again. Like Garoppolo, Wentz.
The whole Falcons beat was quote tweeting me and Zach while we're standing
happens
there.
every year. It seems like this has happened with Zach a few years ago too, when he was still the starter. It's like, oh, they're going to sign Garoppolo tomorrow because he's out for the year. So I'm like, shit, let's just get to the presser. And a lot of people are like, he's not going to say anything in the presser because they're thinking to the Jets of the previous years where Saleh would come up and be like, well, he's probably fine, but we don't know. And then he's out for 12 weeks or something because they were terrible at this information control then. So it was bad. And it was like the washing again. No one's saying Fields is Rodgers. No one's saying it's the same situation, but it's the PTSD of all the people in your life as a Jet fan or a Jet podcaster or whatever we define ourselves as, just either laughing at you and making fun of you as your friends. My mom's freaking out. This sounds insane. Again, my wife is 9.5 months pregnant and 100 people reach out to me. No one asked about my pregnant wife today. It's just Justin Fields. Justin Fields, how you doing? Are you all right? Are they going to sign? So the relief, I forget what the first person was who said it was a toe. I think it might've been Glenn actually.
No, it was Glenn. So Glenn walked up. Yeah. We'll get to practice because there actually was some good stuff, but Glenn walks up. He's taking forever. This is I feel like I'm in a movie. I'm like, of course, I'm here and this is going to happen. And
he's dead. It's over.
Again, I try to be very objective and I'd like to think I cover the team in a fashion that is objective. But I'm also not going to pretend like I'm not a diehard fan that goes to every single game. I'm sitting there trying to be objective and be rational at the same time. I'm like, are we seriously doing this again? Glenn's taking forever. And he walks up the stairs and I've met Glenn before. His head's usually held high. He kind of, he runs the room and his head's down. And I'm like, dude, you gotta be this is such a disaster. He gets up there, says Tyrod. And everyone's like, what is going on? Is he nervous? Cause it's clearly, but he's like, it's a toe. And I literally just felt my, the pit come out of my stomach. And then, yeah, he was like, it's the toe. We don't know the severity. And then he said he thinks he got stepped on. So instantly I'm like, it's turf toe or he broke a toe. Turns out I'm an idiot. It's neither of those. He ends up dislocating the second toe. And it kind of just quickly trickled. Rappaport, Schefter kind of had the same, 2 minute of usual stretch. But Glenn kind of took a deep breath after he said Tyrod. I almost feel like it broke the ice in the room a little bit. And it just made you feel like, all right, worst case, he misses camp. This at this rate is the worst case. Best case, he's back on Monday. And I don't know. This was one of these weird things where, first of all,
this isn't the Jets. We don't have the recent history. It's this is a normal thing that happens all the time.
There's so many weird things happening, but I will say my instant thought, other than Achilles, was thank God Garrett got signed, because I was like, if Fields has an Achilles, but part of it was his buddy Fields is here. Thank God they got the Garrett deal done. And my other thought was just thank God they have Tyrod to run camp. You could see in Glenn's face, Josh Reynolds talked about this, AVT talked about it. Tyrod apparently, again, I wasn't in the huddle, got them all and was like, let's go. Fired them up, got everyone back refocused. And you need that. I just feel like Tyrod couldn't be Tyrod with Rodgers around. And I almost wonder if will we see the benefit of having the 33rd best starting quarterback in the league if wherever you want to rank Tyrod? But he's been in the league for 14 years. Like
Yeah.
he's
and
been
got a lot
this.
of respect to that locker room and from the
Yeah.
coaching staff. People, and to the credit to the Jets, they did a good job, like officially saying what happened. Like he dislocated a toe. He's day to day, which made it sound even less grim than like Samini and some of the other ones where we were talking amongst ourselves. Like he's definitely going to be ready for week 1. There's no doubt about that. It's more of a question like, does he start practicing around the live show, like August 20th? Does he start practicing in a week? My guess is it lands somewhere in between. The fact that it's not his big toe, it's dislocated. Again, I'm not a doctor. I'm just going off ChatGPT or Discord and Twitter. Feels like he's going to probably be out about 2 weeks. He's a mobile quarterback. The Jets are going to play it safe. They have Tyrod who can keep Camp moving. It's July 24th, too. It's not August 24th.
Literally the second day. They don't even have pads yet.
If this is going to happen, like now's the time to happen. There's absolutely a world this dude is just out there playing normal on like August 8th. And we're like, there's still a month until the season. So deep exhale. If this doesn't have to dominate camp now and become like the top storyline, like people get banged up in training camp. It's frustrating. It's annoying that it happened. But when you're staring down the barrel of like, oh my God, are we doing the Kirk Cousins, Carson Wentz thing again? And like, we were excited to see what Fields could do. And now we don't have to worry about that for now. It's encouraging. And as you said, practice goes on. But I will close again, commending the Jets for how they handle the information today, being direct, not letting rumors, nonsense linger, just being like, he hurt his toe. He's day to day. Everyone like chill out. This isn't an LOL Jets. Oh my God, here's your Rodgers meme of him running out with the flag. Like, it's just a normal football thing. Guy stepped on his toe. So like we move on with our lives. Like Glenn business carries on.
That was Glenn's best presser I've seen. He like kind of settled into like, I think Kaz asked him, and it was actually a really good question. He was like, social media is out of control right now. Everyone's already thinking the worst. Like, I know you guys say you don't see it, but like, what happens now? Like, how do you handle that in the locker room, the fan base? He's like, it sucks. He's like, it's frustrating. And he kind of just like straight up owned it and was like, hey, I've been here. I experienced this last year in Detroit. It sucks, but it's football and this is what happens. And we have Tyrod and we're going to be fine. And Justin's going to be okay. And like, it just was a really refreshing, like, Yankee fans are rightfully very angry with Aaron Boone right now because you don't want to be gaslit. Again, you don't have to say, not coaches and GMs, and they don't have to say everything, right? Like, I know everyone would like to know every part of information, but there's a difference in kind of leaving things out and then just straight up bullshitting your fan base just for the sake of it. And I felt like Saleh did too much of like, oh, it's going to be fine, guys. And it wasn't, remember Becton was like 2 to 4 weeks with a broken kneecap and he missed the whole year.
Yeah.
So I thought Glenn did a really good job of like, this is the situation. I truly don't know more than it's a dislocated toe. It's not his big toe. It's on his right foot. I think he got stepped on. I transparently didn't see it. It was like, hey, just a refreshing, like, this is the information. The Jets got the information out within, an hour? And it was like, yeah, we got more tests done. This is what it is. He's day to day. Joe, I feel like I'm circling in my head. Is he back in time for Giants come to town? They drive
12th, 13th.
The 12th, I think, and the 13th. I wonder if they have like 7-on-7, some indie drills. Can they get him moving around? Maybe it's not full speed team. They're not ready for that yet, but can he get in some 7-on-7 stuff, integrate back with some, playing against a different color? I think that's somewhere between that and the live show, I think to me is like, you should be, right in line and you won't miss too many reps. Like the offense shouldn't get totally screwed over.
No, you want him to have like, if he has the last like 15 days before week 1 to practice every single day, he's not a rookie, right? He should be fine. Like, okay, he practiced August 17th to September 7th. Like that's a lot of time. Like he should be ready to go. And I'm sure considering how he plays and that they have Tyrod, they'll give him an extra 3 or 4 days to get as close to 100% as he can. Nobody's ever really 100%. But this is early enough. You could give him a few more days and be like, look, like you're going to get 19 straight days of practice before week 1. You're going to be fine.
Let's not start shooting him up with Tortorall. Like,
just
July 26. Like maybe Justin's a tough kid too. I know. I can guarantee you tomorrow he's going to be like, I want to get out there. And sometimes
if they had a game tomorrow, it's a different situation.
No, he'd be playing. He would have came out of the game. He would have been back in the second half. We would have saw perked up Rodgers in the second half. Like that's what we saw last year with the calf, and it wears off, and then it deteriorates throughout the year. It never actually recovers when that happens.
Yeah, you never heal.
So
All right, so we survived Toegate. Feels is good.
Rex is happy.
Rex is happy. What a day. I mean, my God. It's like 3 days into camp. For God's sakes, man. All right. What else? I'll do 2 more things here.
Yeah.
Besides bullying everyone about the live show and sharing some announcements on it. What else happened at practice that matters? Seems like it's Brandon Stevens week. I'll leave it that, but I'll let you speak to it more. And we got a lot of Christian Wilkins questions because everyone wants more fatties. So you can tell everyone why that's a bad idea.
I'll start with Wilkins. I know we're going to go in opposite order. I would be extremely surprised if the Jets were involved on a guy who everyone loves the John Spytek hire. Pete Carroll gets along with everybody. The Bucs were an organization that's done a really good job of taking chances on guys and it working. A new regime came in and they have the worst D tackle room in the league. Like it's worse than the Jets room. Like there's a good chance Lucky Fotu starts there, even with Christian Wilkins. And they were like, hey, dude, like you haven't even attempted to rehab. Your foot's still in a boot. There's rumors that he got hurt not doing rehab and a little John Wall situation. I'm not sure how true or not that is, but Rappaport hinted very heavily that the Raiders are that. The Raiders must feel like they have quite a bit of evidence to win a case because all the stuff going on at the NFLPA, they just voided $36 million in guarantees and just cut them straight out.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that, whatever. Organizations are not doing that and willing to go to court over that unless they feel like they can win. So I know he's a talented player. He actually doesn't really do what the Jets really need, which is like truly just he's very much in the Quinnen Williams mold of like, I can go get you 10 sacks. Like he's a great player. I'm not saying he's not, but 5 games last year, I think there's some questions around, did he get paid and kind of get hurt? And it was like, well, he'll have $80 million left of guaranteed money. There's a lot of weird stuff there. I understand the depth chart. I get it. I think there'll be other guys that could maybe fit a niche role for the Jets of just like a run stuffing D tackle that maybe gets cut later in camp or they bring in another body. Christian Wilkins isn't going to play for free. And if he's not healthy enough for the Raiders who need him and we're owed him money, why would he be healthy enough for the Jets who are in the same spot the Raiders are, new regime? Like I just don't really get the fit. And honestly, I don't want guys here that have question marks around, do they want to be on the field? And they already got like that. Not to sound like standoffish. I don't know if that's really the fit of what we want Glenn's, regime to look like.
Yeah. So we're not going to bet on that one happening. And again, I think like you said, just some smart people in the room for the Raiders now. And financially, I don't think they do this without good reason. So
cash poor organization being willing to go to court over $36 million
just doesn't. I don't see it. All right. So Stevens, we talked about him blitzing a couple nights ago, and I know he had some plays doing that. But what did you see today? And I think you got your Glenn question in around Stevens.
He lit up. I got him to smile. It was honestly pretty cool. It was like he's like, he had a good day today, right? I'm like, yeah, he did, honestly. But he had a bunch of plays. I don't think he didn't get beat a single time today, and he's rarely getting beat at all. I don't think like Garrett got him bad yesterday. Garrett got him bad because Garrett's a top 10 receiver in the league and just has better ball.
It's hard
skills.
To play corner.
Yeah, it's really hard to play corner, and like he's a big dude. Him and Sauce and Azaria are like 3 of the bigger corners in the league. And Stevens is like a stocky 6'1", 6'2". He's closer to being built like me and you than is to being built like, I don't know, use a whatever example. But yeah, I mentioned the deep over to start the show. He had a play. He got Garrett good today. Like Garrett ran a 9 route, and Joe, you know this, like as a receiver, there's nothing worse than you try to, you want to stack the corner and like get above him so you can't get kind of, pleasantly shielded out of bounds. Stevens turned and ran, and like Garrett was 5 yards out of bounds. And he didn't even have to get handsy with him. So, again, it's short side of the field and the whole thing. And it's not like Garrett didn't run a nice route. Just Stevens was really impressive. And Sauce had some nice breakups, but I felt like if Stevens can play that sticky a coverage, you can live with some of the mistakes with the ball in the air. If he can get 20% better, I don't know if it's possible. We were talking about earlier today, like he kind of is who he is at this point, but I guess the Jets are betting on like, can a couple of those ones where he just missed by a fingertip, can he get a fingertip on it this year? And, if Sauce looks really good, Michael Carter looks really good, if those 3 guys can play at a really high level of just stickiness, you hope balls are going to get tipped up in the air. And do the law of averages. Hopefully they fall into some guys' laps as opposed to kind of going the other way. So I was just really impressed with Stevens. Will McDonald's everywhere. He looks bigger.
Big. 15 pounds of muscle.
He's out there in capri sweatpants, which is
who needs knee pads?
Absolutely insane. 9 looks good on him. Quinnen did Quinnen things. Quincy looks really fast again.
The back, like a safety.
The back was not great last year. I think that was kind of Quincy played through a back thing, which is what it is. But he looked like it's early in camp, and the really good athletes usually look like really good athletes. Braylon Allen, I thought is the biggest dude on the team. It is,
and he's like 19.
It's genuinely frightening. And I think he's going to be. You guys talked about Isaiah Davis. I think Isaiah Davis is going to be able to do a lot of different things. I feel like Braylon's going to be very much in that Montgomery-ish role where it's just like first and 10, dude, be a battering ram and gain 4 yards, and that way we can kind of loosen up the defense a little bit. And I'm not saying every play, but it just felt like that a little bit. Mason was running around. It was nice to see that. Reynolds is very clearly the second best receiver on the Jets. And honestly, I know I'm overrating Brandon Smith right now. I understand he's not going to stay this way. He was the third most impressive receiver through 2 days.
I believe it because it's certainly not going to be Corley. You can't catch.
Corley is not. He individual drills today. Corley and Lazard back-to-back drops on it was just
can't catch the ball. He can't play, man.
The ball. Trying to think of anything else stood out. There was Malachi Moore and Zaria looked good. I mean, again, they're running. They're not yet with the ones, I guess.
Sounds like we don't have a kicker either.
Yeah. Oh, that was the other thing I was going to hit on. Kicker's a disaster. It might get better.
Because that hasn't haunted us in the past.
It might get better. And, Glenn kind of touched on it. He's like, hey, these guys have shown a lot of potential and they're young guys and we expect them to go through growing pains early in camp. That's fine. But there were some missed 25-yard, 30-yard field goals today.
It's terrifying.
And they weren't particularly it just didn't look like a confident kick. So
is Nick Folk still around? What's 44?
He is. He's training. Apparently he wants to, I think year 18 for him.
He's always ready.
I do think, outside of D tackle, receiver, linebacker, places where they could, those are a lot of positions that guys fall through the cracks in the waivers. I would be really, I don't know. I don't know if they're going into the season with these two guys. Maybe I'm wrong and they get hot and they could revert back, but I don't know. Caden Davis has got a really strong leg and he's not very accurate. It's always been a thing. Kickoffs is his thing. You're not carrying 2 kickers. So feels like a vet at some point, maybe even just as a tryout might be a good idea. All
right, here we go. End of the pod. Also, I want to shout out, we're talking about this in the group chat, Jamin Davis. What did we say for the over-under on sacks? 4 sacks? 5 sacks?
Yeah. That was the other.
He's going to be the third linebacker. He'll be blitzing.
So they don't I think they're going to play a lot of two linebackers. Very much, it's a different type of defense and solid, but Michael Carter and to some extent, other guys in that type of role, I think will be, 5 DBs a lot. Jamin Davis feels like a guy on passing downs where it's maybe 3rd and 4, 3rd and 5, but they think a team's a pass-heavy team. I could see him playing quite a bit of hey, Quincy, when they think Quincy's coming, but Jamin Davis is coming, or vice versa, and different things like that. He's certainly a really good athlete. I have my question marks if you think he's going to be a base linebacker.
No, it can't be. He's got to be a very much like a
when you're a
specialist.
first-round pick. When you're a first-round pick and you're cut that early on in your career.
Yeah.
That said, all these coaches feel like there's traits there and I can get a lot out of them. I do. Oh, the one other thing, 2 things. Glenn touched on Jermaine, which I thought was a really good quote. He was like, I'm very optimistic about week 1, but we're all on the same page. He needs to be good, healthy long-term, and we cannot risk him week 1. And we can't only think about week 1. We have to think about, I think he didn't caveat week 1 is not a possibility, but he also felt like he did a good job of I'm not rushing this dude back. I can't afford that. Call for it. Someone called Jadeveon Clowney. And 2, the AVT thing was interesting to me because
unprompted, yeah.
Unprompted. Someone asked him, hey, do you have any foundational pieces? Elijah Vera Tucker feels like a good piece. He's like, of course he's a foundational piece. And he's like, he's a great player. And I do hope we get to be able to, sign him long term. And I was like, whoa, not that I didn't expect that, but AVT is going to get 4 for 90, 5 for 100 something if he's good this year. So AVT gave the cliche, my agent's handling that. I'd love to be with the team who drafted me, and I love the Jets and always be a fan of the Jets. That felt like a guy who's probably going to want to wait the rest of the season. I don't blame him, because if he has a really good year, he's a first-round pick with 3 good years and the injuries behind him. But I thought it was just interesting. Glenn openly was like, yeah, I'd like him to be here long term. He's a great player. And yeah, I don't know. There's just, for all the field stuff, there is a good energy around. Like, they just kind of run like a normal org right now. And even the field stuff, I thought, like you said, was handled like an adult manner. And if this was a normal Jets thing, like, Field somehow has like a broken neck and 16 different torn Achilles. The fact it was a toe was like, this doesn't happen to us. Like, why they avoided injury, like deathly injury? I don't know. Maybe I'm being overly positive today because it was traumatic for 20 minutes, but still.
It was a roller coaster of a day. All right. So if you're watching this on YouTube or you're watching it in front of the paywall on Patreon, check the link in the bio. We're giving out 1 free month of War Room. Once you're in, you're never going to leave. We're at 4,500 patrons and growing. So hit that first. Marketing campaign's been great. Thank you, Bobby. Secondarily, live show, badlandstoj.com, Stout Grand Central, August 23rd, open bar, cash bar. We're giving away multiple suite tickets to Jets vs. Bucks. We're giving away jerseys. We're doing our week 1 preview. We're doing our season preview. We're going to have plenty of other friends from the media world there. We know you've all been procrastinating. Get the goddamn tickets now. Go right now. Just go click the link, badlandstoj.com. Come, bring a friend. Come hang out. We do have to sadly report that Izzy won't be able to make the live show. He's going to try to come week 1. He has a fair reason he can't come to fly across the country for the live show. However, that just means we need even more people to come who are local, because we know there's plenty of you. We had 200 plus.
Izzy said maybe he'd pay for somebody. I don't know. That was the rumor.
That is the rumor I heard. So, I mean, if you're in the Discord, you can hear all this great chatter. Will, I'll let you play bully ball for 20 seconds in the live show, and then we could wrap.
Yeah, I just don't see why you wouldn't go. It's a time to go hang out in the city on a beautiful day. Got Yankees Red Sox before. I don't know who the Mets are playing that day, but I'm sure the Mets are on either at 1 o'clock or 7. Talk some baseball. Kind of getting towards the end of the summer. It's an afternoon affair. Get a babysitter for a couple hours. Do whatever you got to do. We're going to eat and drink and talk about the Jets and Rangers and Mets and Yankees and Knicks and whatever you else want to talk about for 3 hours. And you'll meet some cool, famous people. And, you know, and me and Joe, Meigs, Paul.
We're the famous people now. There's more famous people than us.
Yeah. You get to see Connor's hair in person. It's Zach, other Connor, Kaz, Rich, JJ.
We're bullying the whole beat to show.
Possibly the McCourtys. Who knows?
You never know. You never know who could turn up at these things.
You never know who could turn up. Guys with Super Bowl rings. That should have been Jets. But no, there's no reason not to go. Everyone had a great time last time. And even if you're not a member yet, Badlands, like maybe that'll push you to be, because it's there's no better place to get content on in the Jets world, or honestly in the football universe right now.
I agree. We're loaded up. I mean, I've lost track of how many pods we have this week. Also, randomly, excitingly, recording a new one with Aaron Schatz tomorrow, a little DVOA chat. Love talking DVOA, so he'll be on the feed this weekend. I feel like will appear on the feed at some point this weekend. I'll be back. Dan will be here. It's crowded. It's Badlands TOJ. It's patreon.com/BadlandsTOJ, and then it's Badlands TOJ for the tickets. Everything will be linked below. Nice, solid Toegate half hour for your Thursday night. Thank you, everyone, for listening. Thank you, football gods, for sparing us from what could have been a traumatic day and a traumatic midday emergency podcast that I just didn't have in me to give today. We will talk to you soon.